Welcome to today's webinar, BIM in Action, Streaming Design and Construction in El Salvador, a case study of Vistas 75. This webinar is brought to you by Graitec. My name is Misty Scott, and I am pleased to be your moderator today. As a reminder, you can find a schedule of upcoming events, webinars, and training on our calendar at asti.com/calendar. Before we dive in, we'd love to learn more about how we can best support you and your business. If you could take a moment to answer the poll questions on the right-hand side of your screen, it would help us learn more about how we can best serve you. We'd also like to invite you to take advantage of our free trial of Ideate Software. You can scan the QR code on the screen, but we will also add this back to the screen at the end of the webinar. Now for today's session, it is pre-recorded and translated from Spanish to English for your viewer experience, but we do have all of the speakers online live to answer any questions you may have, so you can throw those in the live chat. All right, I am very pleased to introduce our speakers today. Cesar is a Senior Technical Marketing Manager at Autodesk and a leading voice in BIM and emerging tech with passion for computational design and innovation. Carlo is the CEO of Esfera Inversiones. Carlo brings extensive leadership in urban development and investment, currently overseeing the Vistas 75 residential project. And we also have Natalia. She is a BIM manager at Esfera Inversiones and excels in integrating BIM models with budget data for effective construction tracking and quality assurance. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and I'm going to go ahead and get things started.
All right, welcome everybody to our session today, BIM in Action. My name is Cesar Escalante, and I'm your host for today's webinar. The topic today is to discuss a case study in construction execution, the Vista 75 project. And the title of the presentation is Streamlining Design and Construction in El Salvador, a presentation by Esfera Inversiones. In El Salvador, this recording, this presentation is streamed in Spanish, but it will be translated into English for your viewing experience. You can write your questions in the chat panel or in the Q&A panel, and we will answer them as they come up. We also have a live Q&A session at the end of this presentation, so stay until the end to hear the questions answered live. Okay, my name is Cesar Escalante. I am the Technical Marketing Manager at Autodesk, and I'm joined by Carlos Calante, the CEO of Esfera Inversiones, and Natalia Romero, the BIM Manager at Esfera Inversiones. Esfera Inversiones is a Salvadoran company dedicated to the development of real estate projects, founded in 2013. The purpose of Esfera Inversiones is to evaluate and execute investment opportunities in the Salvadoran real estate market that generate added value for our clients, focusing on innovation, efficiency, and respect for the environment. The company was founded by Carlos Calante and emphasizes the importance of trust in the private sector and collaboration with state institutions for the implementation of innovative and sustainable projects. This is the agenda for today. We will begin with an overview of the project, where we will explain the objectives and scope of the business model. Then we will present the digital delivery plan, detailing how BIM technology optimized the process in the different phases of the project. Then we will move into a discussion of the workflows, how the information is integrated and was managed efficiently. And we will highlight the key learnings and open the floor for questions and answers. Let's begin with a description of the project. The Vista 75 project is located in the capital of El Salvador, in San Salvador, in one of the most privileged areas in the northern part of the city, at the foot of the iconic San Salvador volcano, and right on the edge of the city's urban expansion. Its strategic location offers direct access to major thoroughfares such as Avenida 75 Norte, Avenida Masferrer Norte, and Boulevard Constitución, making it easy to connect with the main areas of the city. The project is just minutes away from iconic landmarks like El Salvador del Mundo, Redondel Constitución, and Redondel Masferrer, placing it near the most important financial and commercial district of the capital. The project, located at the permitted boundary of urban development according to zoning codes, borders protected ecological areas, allowing for privileged views of the forest reserves to the north of the project, as well as views of the city to the south. We used Autodesk Forma to conduct site studies and assess its environmental characteristics. The property measures nearly 2 hectares of open land in a dense tropical forest area. With Autodesk Forma, we were able to evaluate the environmental variables, such as the abundant access to sunlight throughout most of the year, warm temperatures, pleasant winds, and a rainy season that runs from May to October. The strategic location of the project not only ensures easy access to services, but also offers mobility for both residents and visitors, boosting the value and convenience of the project as a residential option in San Salvador. The property spans nearly 2 hectares of land and is located at an elevation of 860 meters above sea level. The business model evolved over time with the idea of maximizing the supply of affordable housing, while at the same time ensuring access to a decent quality of life. The project consists of several 4 apartment buildings and 3 residential blocks. This is Building A and Building B, which are connected by a parking platform. Building C, which is being constructed in a 3rd phase, and Building D, which is the first building being developed. A block of individual houses, Block B of individual houses as well, and Block C located in the southern area. The amenities include a clubhouse, a soccer field with spectator seating, a children's play area, an eco park that features a yoga area, a space for hanging hammocks, and access to the adjacent tropical forests and various other features. We are celebrating access to an existing tree, which is a tziba, and we also have an area for dogs and a 2-level parking structure shared between Building A and B and the access gatehouse, the vehicular access gatehouse. This area constitutes the extension of the project, and a key part of it is a pedestrian zone that we call the Rambla, which connects the project from east to west. And these are really the different components of the project. All of this has been enabled using BIM technology. Here are some key metrics of the project, including the amount of buildable surface area and the number of units in the different buildings and residential houses. The conceptual development is centered around a perimeter vehicular access zone that in a manner that surrounds the 3 main buildings and indeed provides access to the complex through a standalone gatehouse. Here are some 3-dimensional representations of the project. This is Building B, which is rendered using a software called Twinmotion for visualization. And this is the rendering literally from the clubhouse. The BIM methodology was chosen for the design of Vista 75 because it allows all the project information to be integrated into a single comprehensive model, facilitating collaboration between designers and builders at the different stages of the project, from execution to construction. In addition, this methodology ensures that all documentation and change orders are managed in a centralized and up-to-date manner, guaranteeing the quality and sustainability of the Vista 75 development. In the video, you can see the use of design options that allowed us to offer a flexible and adaptable product to suit the different lifestyles of our clients. With design options, we address the different needs of different users. We also used high definition visualization tools to show the different qualities of life according to the lifestyles of various types of families. To ensure maximum efficiency in the execution of the project, a strategic collaboration was established with Autodesk, the world's leading company in the development of design and engineering software for construction management. And thanks to this partnership, the Esfera team had access to advanced solutions such as Revit and the Autodesk Construction Cloud, tools that are industry benchmarks for the creation, modeling, and coordination of architectural projects. The integration of these platforms made it possible to optimize every phase of the construction project, from initial planning to on-site management. From the beginning, the business model was managed using a multi-prime contractor execution model, or in English, construction management multi-prime, which is a project delivery method where the owner contracts directly with the various contractors. Each one is responsible for specific work packages. For example, plumbing, electricity, structural work, shell construction, instead of hiring a single general contractor. In this development model, the owner takes on the role of contractor, managing and coordinating all the contracts. The owner also hires the architect and a construction management advisor who acts as an administrator but does not assume the risks. Each contractor can subcontract work to specialists according to their scope. The advantages of this methodology are that the owner has greater control over costs, contractor selection, work quality, and the schedule. The disadvantages are that the owner takes on more risks and more responsibilities, including coordination and conflicts between the different contractors. This type of project requires experience and direct involvement from the owner in all processes. And in Vista 75, it was the most ideal method because the owners were directly involved in the full control of the project and were willing to be directly involved in the construction management. The ACC platform, or Autodesk Construction Cloud, was the ideal solution to manage this development because it centralized all the information in a single cloud-based collaborative platform, allowing all contractors, designers, and construction managers to work together in real time regardless of their geographic location. ACC integrates tools for document management, version control, and effective communication among all stakeholders, reducing errors and speeding up decision-making and the approval of documents and models. In addition, ACC enabled the automation of workflows and simplified collaboration, which is key in this type of project, where coordination among the different disciplines was essential to the project's success. ACC offers a robust platform with various powerful tools to optimize construction management. Among these tools is Autodesk Docs, which enables centralized management of all project documents. Autodesk Build, which facilitates field construction management by coordinating tasks and tracking construction progress. Autodesk Takeoff, which automates material quantification. Collaborate, which promotes multidisciplinary collaboration among design teams, and model coordination, which specializes in coordinating clash detection. The modules adopted by Esfera Inversiones are highlighted in red, and they have been key to the execution of the project. The model coordination module has made it possible to efficiently coordinate all the BIM models from the different disciplines. It has facilitated the detection of clashes between models and allows for the assignment and management of field issues. The project management module has handled all aspects of the project, allowing for task creation, decision tracking, team coordination, and ensuring that all parties are aligned so that project progress is documented and controlled efficiently. And the cost management module handles the financial management of the project, including budget preparation, tracking of actual expenses, and the management of changes and risks. Cost control allows for anticipating deviations and making informed decisions to avoid cost overruns and optimize resources. Next, we're going to describe how these modules were implemented, in particular, the project management and cost management modules. And for this, Carlo, I'll give you the floor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carlo Escalante. I am the CEO of Esfera Inversiones, the company responsible for the Vistas 75 project. Vistas 75 has been a project developed from its design and planning phase, based on the best practices that the Autodesk Construction Cloud platform allowed us to implement. In particular, I would like to highlight some elements that the platform has provided us for the purposes of this presentation. Specifically, I would like to emphasize the modules within the Autodesk Construction Cloud platform related to cost management, to the modeling part, which is handled through docs and file management, and within cost management, the elements related to the management of the budget costs, cost items, and the contract model that Esfera Inversiones decided to implement to carry out the Vista 75 project. Among the things we consider most relevant during the pre-construction or planning and design phase of the project are the elements and the way the platform allowed us to manage, develop, and handle budgetary components. The decisions related to the level of aggregation or disaggregation of the budget, which largely depends on the uncertainty of that work element in the market, on what is offered in terms of those services. This has been quite powerful and served as the foundation that enabled us to take better advantage of the tools that will be shown to you later. Specifically, as you can see, Autodesk Construction Cloud allows in the budget module the management of each budgetary element of the project, and in the way it handles the budget, the role of the budget code is, in my opinion, one of the elements that has most contributed to keeping the budget management under control and making it successful. In the Vista 75 project in particular, we made the decision that the budget code identifying each budgetary element of the project would have a structure of 5 segments that define where that element to be executed is located, and that is associated with a budget line. 5 segments that are related to the description of that element, following standardized lines of work classification, adjusted to the local context. In El Salvador, where the project was carried out, it was not possible to implement it in its entirety. We had to make certain adjustments, but we maintained the conceptual framework for managing the classification of work elements, and we added the contract package to the identification of the budget code. Given the selection of contracts we decided to implement for this project, Vista 75. Finally, we included an element that makes each record unique, that makes each budget item unique, which is a sequential identifier. This combination of elements and the rigor with which it was developed, the location of the work, what the work is, who executes it, and how it is identified, has, in my opinion, played a very important role in enabling the tools available both in Autodesk Construction Cloud and in the tools that support the execution of the project to be used to their fullest potential. That has been the case for this project, and Nati will explain it in more detail later on, in such a way that the relationship between how the budget is managed, how the description of the what, the where, the who, and the identification of the budget items is detailed, and how it is adapted to the way contractors work together with the owner to carry out the construction, and that the different contractors are 100% integrated into the platform for the purpose of payment for their services. And the way these four elements are linked and related to each other, I believe this has been the key factor. Among all the factors involved in good project execution practices, these elements have been the most relevant, and they have ultimately allowed the tools that we will show you later to have the strength needed for the business of executing, in this case, houses and apartments, to have the power that you will see later on. I'll now hand it over to Natalia, who will give you a description of how the design of assets and ready, along with the tools that support this development, allow us to gain a very powerful advantage, which we will describe next.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Natalia Romero, and today I will present the workflow we have been implementing in the Vista 75 project for asset management within the project. Now using our Revit models, Ideate Software tools, and asset management in Autodesk Construction Cloud. And after that, our visualization dashboards in Power BI. The objective of this workflow is to essentially demonstrate how we transform model data into strategic information for progress control and decision making. We have three main contributors here. As previously mentioned, we have a database that is our budget, which has been organized by segments and coded in a way that allows us to filter between different contractors or buildings. We have Autodesk Construction Cloud, which is our common data environment where we have managed the budget items and which have later been turned into assets in the build module. And we have the Ideate Software programs, which have helped us connect our three-dimensional models with our database. So, what is Ideate Software and why is it important for our processes? Ideate Software for Revit offers tools that allow us to manage, edit, and control large volumes of data within our Revit files. And we can do that in a very efficient and effective manner and productively. It's important because it simplifies manual tasks and improves the quality of the information we're managing, and it allows us to maintain consistency between what we're tracking in our database and what we want and what we're building. Now, one of the tools from Ideate is Ideate BIMlink. BIMlink allows us to extract information from the model into Excel and edit it easily, and then return that information to our model without losing quality or tracking. This gives us complete control over the information and data and makes it easier for us to edit them in bulk. Among other tools, we also have the Ideate Explorer, which helps us with searching, organizing, and controlling elements within our Revit models. So it's important to mention this because within the model environment, using filters and managing information helps us maintain better quality control in the modeling process. Another extremely important tool is Ideate Automation, since it allows us to schedule the export of data from our models automatically using updated information without the need for manual intervention. Now let's show how our data flow begins. First, we have our database, which is initially created in Excel and later uploaded into cost management. In our common data environment, we share that database and then transform it into assets within Autodesk Build. When we're in Autodesk Build, we can manage that information in a way that allows us to categorize the assets and organize them so that we can filter them depending on the information we want to obtain from them. In addition to this, we can add custom parameters for tracking each asset, which will later provide us with the ideal information to understand the status of our project. Once the assets are configured in our common data environment, in Autodesk Build, we can export the file or that set of information into an Excel file and also edit it in bulk, since they are linked to an asset ID that can then easily return to our common data environment. Now, how exactly do we connect our Revit models with the information we're effectively managing in Autodesk Build? That's where the Ideate BIM Link tool come in. First, we essentially need to create shared parameters that effectively help us manage the information in a way that is quite similar to the existing and well-established databases or digital assets we currently have in the build system. The shared parameters allow us to incorporate custom information that Revit doesn't include natively, and these are essential for identifying, tracking, and reporting the information we need to use. Once we have those parameters completed through the tool, we can indeed share those additional parameters across various different models and not just the initial model. These parameters can be inserted easily and efficiently or inserted in bulk using an Excel file created by building. In addition to that, we can also make modifications to the parameters that have been created and assigned to our assemblies or components and adjust or alter them as needed so they contain information coming from our Autodesk View assets. After that, we automate the process of importing or exporting information from our models and also create a graphical model that can ultimately be published in model coordination. All that information, that package of data, in order to truly be useful for everyone involved. Contractors, financial entities, owners, and builders all need the information to be processed in a graphical dashboard that presents the data clearly and quantitatively. And for that, we use Power BI. First, we start here. Visually, I'd like to show you the process we followed to manage the information. Here we have our database organized by segments where we can filter to find the different items using filters for location, quantities, or contracts. In the second step of our process, we have a comprehensive collection of our valuable assets available in the Autodesk View platform. And these assets can be viewed and analyzed in detail as follows. Here, we manage information by organizing it into categories, such as location, condominiums, buildings, elements, or contracts to streamline access and coordination. For example, here we can see building A, which has its own coding, and the list of all its contracts. For example, we're selecting the one for structural work. It contains all the items and elements that distinguish it. In this information here, each item includes the following: the name of the item and the status of the element, which can be planned, delayed, in progress, or finally closed. All that information is easier to manage directly from ACC in order to later create a graphical environment. Here, I'll show you how to export bulk asset information to an Excel file. This allows us to filter the data, for example, to find delayed elements or make bulk edits. Exporting to Excel gives us the advantage of using its powerful filtering and editing tools, helping us quickly identify overdue tasks, update information efficiently, and maintain accurate, well-organized data. Let's say if we need to delete an item, we can do it directly in this Excel file and then return it and import it back into ACC. There are two ways to create shared parameters, and this is the one that is commonly done directly in our Revit models. If you notice, there is a list of the asset parameters that were created for asset tracking in ACC. and each shared parameter is assigned the category it needs to be, which in this case would be text, and to which element we need those parameters to be added. In this case, we have selected the assemblies. We can launch Ideate BIM link and create a panel where all those parameters are selected and export them to an Excel file. Here we can see the list of all our parameters and the information they contain, which is directly linked to our files and to our asset database. We can also create a link that will later help us automate processes. This is the automatic workflow that works more efficiently if we have a fairly large number of Revit models that we need to add these parameters to. The idea here is to create an Excel file where we can link the ID of the assembly elements. In this particular case, the ones we need are imported directly into our Revit model. Here we are already using the Ideate automation tool, where we select the model to which we need to apply our shared parameters. We also need the name that the Excel file requires, that will be imported into Revit, and the link that was previously created to connect the data table. We click on Run, and it generates a script that is executed and completed. In this model, for example, we can see that the list of our assets, our asset parameters, was automatically created. We can also see that the category to which we needed the parameter to be applied was automatically selected. This is an option that for now is in beta, but in the coming months, Ideate Automation will have it available. Now, for when and if we needed to make direct and precise edits in a detailed and comprehensive manner directly to our Revit model and create a change in the information we need to display. We can change in the information we need to display easily and immediately from the Excel file created through BIM link. In Excel, we make the necessary edits to ensure everything is correct and then proceed to open our Revit file, where we carefully import our Excel data. Once it's imported, we can verify through the screen shown here, where it tells us which elements have been modified. It gives us the modified values and the current value. So in this tab, we can see the modification and also confirm it through the ID, which is linked to our element. For instance, or as an example, we have the ability to easily and efficiently copy that specific ID number and locate and identify it in our comprehensive model to thoroughly verify that all the relevant information has been accurately and correctly updated. As you can clearly see here, the update was indeed done as it should be and just as it was expected. Now, when you are exporting this information, it can also be done using Ideate BIM link for Revit. But also to make it more automatic, we could import the information directly by creating tasks through Ideate Automation for Revit. Let me show you an example here. Here we select the script that we need to use. In this case, it will be the IFC export. We establish the necessary configuration, select our file, and follow the steps. In this case, it's the Ideate assets. We select where we want the file to be saved, the full name of the file. And in this case, since it's an IFC file that we need to export, we can select the pre-configured view to always be able to do it automatically. There, it shows us the completion of the task, which has been successfully completed, and the commands that were used to manage it. In the same way, we could schedule this IFC to be exported on a weekly basis and save the configuration in our previously set tasks for further automation. This makes it easier for us or helps us to ensure that the information will always be updated whenever we need it. Now that IFC is exported directly from Ideate Automation, we can see it here clearly, and it displays all the properties we want that come directly from our Revit models. In addition to the properties we created with VML and exported or imported directly using the Ideate Automation tool. So this view it's filtered by color coding. The orange color shows all the elements that are in progress right now. The blue color shows everything that is ongoing, and the red show everything that is delayed. In our object panel, we can now select all of those assemblies along with all the parameters that we previously configured in our Revit files. Now, when we are filtering them, it will be much easier when we publish them directly in model coordination and create a public view for everyone involved, a dashboard view, especially for all the contractors who are currently building or constructing the buildings we are working on. Now, the purpose of all this information is to process it through our graphic dashboards in Power BI. Specifically, in this slide now, we can see how all the information has been integrated through the exchange from the ACC Autodesk Construction Cloud platform and from our IFC model exported directly with the help of Ideate Automation, and also all the tables linked with the Revit model that were updated using VML. In addition to that, we have information directly extracted from ACC's build module, such as assets. And through this particular view, we can specifically filter all of those various elements and components that are currently experiencing delays. Now we can even carry out the same measurement activities that we have already performed on the Autodesk platform. All the model properties are now exported to us. And additionally, you can see the graphical color coding of the status of each of the elements is exported here as well. For example, we can select all those elements that are delayed and get a percentage summary of the status of the elements, such as how much time we need to complete the element and how much progress we have made up to date. In addition to that, since it's interactive, we can select the elements in our lower panel, adding or viewing all the percentage progress created or extracted directly from the ACC assets. Likewise, in the panel, we can see all the elements, the classification we previously had in our database and later in our assets, and also filter by the sectorization of our buildings. In this case, for example, this is building A, and it has two sectors. It has the stair module, which is the COA, and the entire building, which is the EDA. So this has a great visual impact, and it helps us make quick and practical decisions together with the different stakeholders who are involved in the Vistas 75 project. And all this information is processed, integrated into different dynamic dashboards in Power BI, and it practically allows us to have a real-time visualization of the project's progress and the status of the elements or buildings. What strategic value does this type of information provide us? Well, we transform the various scattered data, whether from tracking or generated through the work items and contracts for each contractor, and it informs us of potential risks and helps us develop strategies to anticipate them. It helps us optimize resources. It also helps us improve construction planning. And well, more than just a report, it becomes a tool for project management. This allows us to filter by contracts. And later on, this view could also include other buildings and be even more integrated, allowing us to extract progress data and perform more detailed analyses. In the same way, it can be accounted for in bulk. For example, in this dashboard, we have the integration of all our assets, our more than 6,000 assets, uploaded into Build. And we can filter, let's say, by building and see the percentage of progress for that building and the status of all the elements, whether they are delayed, in progress, and the dates that were originally scheduled for these elements to be completed. Or also just a general overview of the project's overall progress. So this truly has been a great opportunity for us to find a path toward improvement in the entire construction processes and more towards better efficiency in the project. In these panels, it's also possible to create a 4D visualization of the construction schedule for the elements and also assign costs to them, which can later be analyzed from a financial perspective.
Okay, so I think that was the bulk of the presentation. We are now opening for live Q&A. If you want to write your question, please write it in the chat panel. We're happy to respond. We can do this either in English or Spanish. Just let us know if you have any additional question. I guess one of the things we need to wrap up some takeaways and lessons learned, and maybe Carlo, you can mention maybe the top 3 or 4 things that you can advise the attendees on what to do. Just unmute yourself.
¿Se escucha?
Sí.
Okay, I could do it in English or in Spanish. I think the most important value of doing or working in this way is that the information goes faster, efficiently, and also is very valuable because rise the level of the discussion. The discussion with so many contracts working at the same time, the information is massive, and it's difficult to take decisions, to take or to see the consequences of the decision that we are taking every day. So I think the most powerful value of working this way and the tools that help us to do this way is that the information goes efficiently with the aspect that matter the most. I think this is the most important thing of working this way.
And Carlos, there's a question from Robert. Why do we use Excel instead of another database tool?
The database for 4 buildings and 27 houses, in addition of the civil work. I think why we are not using another database is because of we start using Excel, and the team that we have in Esfera Inversiones are very good using Excel. I think we it's enough powerful to do it in Excel. Of course, we were at what time in one moment of the project we were thinking of changing, but it would be too much difficult for the teams to change the knowledge of working with a different or special database, for example, in Microsoft or Oracle, and so Excel it works for this the number of buildings that we are construction, it's enough for us.
There was a question about accessing more information about the products. This was from Rafael. Rafael, if you're interested to know more about ACC, I believe Autodesk has a representative based in Costa Rica, Mexico, and Guatemala, and I can connect you with some technical solution specialists. If you're interested in Autodesk Ideate Solutions, I don't see Naveen on the screen, but Naveen is a technical solution specialist that supports sales globally, and maybe Misty can share on the chat panel how to follow up with Ideate after this call. Oh, Naveen, you're there?
Hello,
yes.
everyone. Yes, I'm here.
So,
happy to answer any questions. Yeah, we'll follow up later on if needed.
Yeah, there was a question about following up with support in El Salvador. Would that be you?
Yeah, happy to assist if it's related to Ideate Software.
Okay.
And what you guys can do, if you have any questions, if you need support or anything, you can email myself at webinars@graitec.com. So I'll get you connected with the right person with the right answers. And I also wanted to answer a question a couple of you asked. You will receive a recording of this session in your email within 24 hours. If you don't receive that for any reason, you can also email me at webinars@graitec.com. I'm going to put that in the chat again.
Okay.
There was a question that just came in that asked if we're capable to work with parameters for editing Revit families. BIMlink is the solution for that. So you're able to create parameters, editing them, and assigning their values. I hope that answers your question. That's a great question. Love it. Thank you.
Okay, there is another questions about the number of the team for Vista 75. As you can see, the contract model that we are working, we are dealing with many contracts, and the owner is directly involved. So we at the end, we are dealing with approximately 45 different contracts, and we have two teams. The first one is the team that is responsible to maintain all the models up to date. We have seven modeling workers doing this. In the construction field, we have four workers, and the owner has the help of an external supervisor, that is Leon Sol, and the supervisor has approximately between 10 and 12 people working in the field. That's the total count of the people working in Vista 75.
There was a follow-up question on creating the shared parameters. So you're able to, yes, create that within Excel as you're imagining or you're envisioning that. So you create that with Excel, and then you can push it to multiple families when we're going to release a new release of automation. You can kind of batch add it to several families. And so that workflow is possible.
Okay, I think we have probably room for a couple more questions, and then we wrap up. Maybe a question for Natalia, not to put you on the spot, but El Salvador is not has technologically taken the back seat when it comes to technology innovation. What was the greatest challenge for you when it comes to put in place this technology for the project?
Well, I think the more challenging was create a workflow automatically to the different process that we have in the project Vistas 75. And before we using Ideate Software, we had it automatic in everything we do it manually. But with the integration with ACC and the software like BIMlink was possible to do things that we are not, we not use it in El Salvador constantly. I think was a big opportunity to create a workflow that approach all the elements or the advantage that we have in the BIM methodology. So I think, well, we believe this workflow can be scaled and adapted to other projects, offering similar benefits of efficiency and benefits with scheduled times and money and with
the cost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Natalia.
All right.
I don't see more questions, Misty.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I do want to thank you all for joining us today. I hope it was meaningful and impactful for you and your businesses. I do have the link on the screen if you're interested in a free trial of Ideate software. And if you'd like to just learn a little bit more and have a short meeting with our team, you can click yes on that poll question. We'd be happy to get you connected. But we hope that you really enjoyed today. And thank you so much, experts, for joining us as well. We hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week, and we see you on future webinars. Have a great day.
Have a good one.